John Deere is in serious trouble after making a very crazy and controversial move that has many people furious. John Deere is a name that many people associate with American farming and agriculture, and the company has been having a downfall problem lately. The reason for this is that the decisions made by John Deere to address their issues have raised concerns for those who rely on their equipment. Donald Trump promised to impose a 200% tariff on any products that are not made in the US. But what specifically did John Deere do? And is this the beginning of a new era? How will this impact you, me, and the industry as a whole? The company's decision to relocate production to Mexico, one of the most significant changes that has caused anxiety in the agricultural community, is one of the things that has infuriated everyone. Moving the production of key equipment lines, particularly skid steers and compact truck loaders, from Duca, Iowa to Ramos, Mexico, is not the first time the company has done so. In 2022, it already moved the production of tractor cabs to Mexico because of a difficult labor market. By 2026, they also intend to relocate the manufacturing of compact track loaders and midstream skid steer loaders to a facility in Mexico. Many people are left wondering what will happen to American manufacturing and the jobs that depend on it as a result of all these changes. So let's discuss this in more detail before we do. To ensure you don't miss anything, subscribe and click the bell icon first. The repercussions. The primary factor behind this decision to relocate is the stark disparity in labor costs between the US and Mexico. While American production managers frequently make over $56 per hour, their Mexican counterparts only make $44.50. This astounding salary. John Deere's decision to move their operations was primarily driven by GAAP, which allowed them to drastically reduce manufacturing costs and possibly boost their profit margin. As the company looks to improve its financial performance, this raises serious concerns and worries for American workers, as many are concerned about job security and economic stability in communities that greatly depend on these good jobs. Since September 2023, this change has had immediate and devastating consequences. In 2024 alone, John Deere laid off over 88 workers in Iowa and Illinois, resulting in the loss of over 2,100 jobs. The impact of these layoffs is profound and obvious, as they have affected not only production workers, but also the local economies that rely on these jobs for stability and financial livelihood. John Deere has blamed these layoffs in these communities on a 20% decline in sales and general economic difficulties, citing these factors as key factors. However, many workers and company critics argue that the decision to shift production is essentially behind schedule. These layoffs, many employees have expressed doubt about John Deere's justifications, particularly in light of the company's record profits during this turbulent time. This discrepancy between business success and employee layoffs has increased feelings of annoyance and desertion among those who once saw John Deere as a pillar of their communities. In addition to layoffs and job relocations, John Deere has implemented software locks in its machinery that prohibit farmers from performing their own repairs. Farmers are forced to rely entirely on authorized John Deere dealers for maintenance and repairs as a result of this major policy change. The new approach has significant financial ramifications and completely changes the sense of independence that farmers had for years when it came to maintaining their machinery. According to reports, John Deere's Consequences Parts and Services division generates 3 to 6 times as much revenue as their new machinery. Sales critics contend that by imposing these software locks, John Deere essentially establishes a monopoly on repair services, driving up prices for farmers who are left to rely on dealer pricing. This strategy erodes farmers' autonomy and presents significant ethical questions regarding business practices. One farmer described a terrible experience of losing 2.5 days of productivity simply waiting for a dealer to address a computer issue with his equipment. Such incidents highlight the growing reliance on complex technologies that many farmers feel increasingly ill-equipped to manage independently or repair without external assistance. With profits seemingly taking precedence over customer service and accessibility for farmers, many now face exorbitant repair costs, coupled with frustrating delays in acquiring authorized technicians that can be catastrophic. Farmers are growing increasingly concerned about their reliance on systems that they are unable to manage or fix on their own as a result of technology's increasing integration with agricultural practices. As tractors evolve into sophisticated machines powered by complex software rather than traditional mechanical understanding, farmers are concerned about losing their independence when it comes to maintaining their prized equipment without assistance from outside experts. Reliance raises important questions about self-sufficiency in an industry where practical knowledge and hands-on skills have always been crucial. However, what effects does all of this have? It is hard to ignore the political backlash that has erupted around John Deere's decision to move some of its manufacturing operations to Mexico. Notable individuals such as former President Donald Trump have entered the fray with scathing criticism in a dramatic display of his trademark style. Trump has boldly warned that he is willing to impose a 200% tariff on all John Deere products. In addition, during a recent policy roundtable in Pennsylvania, Trump accused John Deere of harming American farmers and the manufacturing sector by moving jobs to Mexico. His threat isn't just a token political gesture, it aligns with his larger America First initiative, which prioritizes the protection of American jobs and industries. If the company moves forward with its plans to move operations south of the border, just think of the implications of this audacious move. A tractor that normally sells for $100,000 could skyrocket to an astounding $300,000, sending shockwaves through the agricultural sector and affecting many other industries. Opposing the dangers of outsourcing, Trump's message is very clear. If John Deere moves forward with its plans, the company will probably suffer serious financial repercussions that could make it more difficult for it to effectively compete in the U.S. market as pressure mounts. Despite acknowledging the potential threat, John Deere is adamant that economic needs, not political pressures, guide their decisions. They also highlight their dedication to American manufacturing, which currently employs about 300 people across 60 facilities nationwide. The complex dynamics of global trade and the complexities of regional economies form the backdrop of this tariff threat. Industry experts warn that such drastic measures could have negative effects, especially harming American farmers who depend on reasonably priced equipment. If these tariffs were to go into effect, they might unintentionally create advantages for foreign competitors while imposing burdens on domestic consumers. Trump's approach highlights his administration's tendency to use tariffs as instruments of economic protectionism, a strategy that has characterized much of his political career. We're looking for reasonably priced options can and might keep such concerns about John Deere's apparent lack of support for the right to repair movement or adding fuel to this controversy. She contends that the company's business practices prevent farmers from fixing their own equipment, potentially in violation of the Clean Air Act, by impeding necessary repairs on emissions systems. Warren's comments reflect a growing sense of annoyance among farmers who feel helpless in the face of corporate giants like John Deere. Many think that the business prioritizes profit margins over community well-being and customer service. Warren's concerns about denying farmers access to essential repair information and tools strike a deep chord with many people in rural America, who see the right to repair as an essential component of preserving independence and self-sufficiency within their farming operations. Many farmers find it difficult to maintain their equipment without going bankrupt, due to John Deere's perceived perpetuation of a system that makes repairs not only costly, but also frustratingly time-consuming. This reality further strains already limited agricultural budgets.